Call the meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda. I do want to, we will not have to discuss old business number one as far as the building permit extension. That the number was not on the minutes, and so we just don't need to worry about correcting that. It is corrected, but it's just not on the minutes. Okay, so with that omission, I would entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to approve tonight's edition. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. On pages 1 through 3 were the minutes of the previous council meeting held on March 17th.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes from March 17th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Public input. Hearing none, the department heads' report are found on pages 4 through 7. Any questions? I would make note on this on the, with regard to Ron Hofteser's report with regard to the West Nile grant this year, and I'm just going to read from his notes. The Department of Health is not going to have enough funding for the West Nile grant this year. We usually receive about $2,500 to $3,500 depending on the number of applicants. And I'll just go on. I'm not sure if they are going to do the mosquito surveillance funding, which could be another $5,000 a year. Sometimes it's the old government teacher in me, and also we should be aware of the benefits that the federal government and the state government, helps fund certain things within each of our communities, and this is one of those that are very beneficial. During the summer, I'll see Ron or one of his staff or one of the employees up here, going through the mosquito count and checking for any that would carry West Nile, and so it's one of those things. The amount of money that we receive in grant money that we do not have to fund locally for that type of protection. Do we have? I'll have you come up and speak, Ron. I guess the question I had with regard to that, do we have the funding if we need to proceed to?
Yeah, I can't remember if I put $7,000 or $10,000 for, is that, yep, for the year. Most of it, the biggest cost is actually larviciding, but it's the cheapest in a sense because you're getting more of them. When you mosquito fog, it only kills the mosquito that is out in the air.
Okay.
The larva siding, we put that where we know there's water issues. And they drop their eggs in there and they feed on, it's called methoprene, and they eat that, and it's a growth regulator is what that is.
The amount that you have down here that we will not receive, where did that money come from those figures that you gave us? You gave us $2,500 to $3,000?
The state writes a check. I don't know if that's through the state, or not on the 25, 35.
Okay,
The 5, I believe, is the state.
all right,
Because we send in the ones that are potential carriers, and then they test them, and their testing is not cheap to test each pool. So,
all right.
I honestly don't know where they get the money, I guess is my thing.
Well, just like other entities, I'm sure they either budget for them or just rely on the federal governments for some type of assistance too, so.
Yep. The last few years, I think it's been $500,000 that they've divvied out to the cities. And cities, counties, recreation areas, that kind of thing.
Okay,
And last
But,
year.
on top of that, the surveillance is an additional, and they only have so many of them. And we were fortunate to live where we are, because Huron and Pierre are a long ways away. And it gives, with us in the middle, gives them an idea where these mosquitoes are.
okay,
Some towns do their own. I believe Pierre does, Aberdeen and Sioux Falls, I think, take care of their own stuff.
all right.
But, maybe not total funding, but
I just wanted to add that last year we got 8,500 in mosquito.
so it would have been
Grant.
3,500 then is what we would have got plus the 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, the 5,000 pays the employees to do the counting, setting them aside. There's a little time involved. And then a CO2 bottle, and then once in a while we have to fix the net or the the trap. Really, a net is all it is. So
Well, and the thing of it is, we've been, you know, with you and your department and the other employees who help with that, you know, we've been on the right side of the West Nile situation in our community, and that's because of the assistance and because of the job done by you guys, you know, with regard to the control, you know, and to stay on top of these things, you know, and that's one thing you don't want to be on the backside, and I'm sure there are people who have, you know, horror stories with regard to individuals who contracted West Nile, and some of them didn't turn out very good,
yeah,
so.
and every one of us in here may have had it, and we never knew
Yeah.
it. That's the thing. You either have it, you don't know it, or you have it, and it's a terrible thing. My wife's great uncle was the first death in hand count,
Really,
and the hardest on the family, knowing a little bitty bug
yeah, can do that.
killed him. Yeah.
Well, I worked with a person who had married and had a young son, and he succumbed to it too, and
Yeah.
it just, yeah, it's not a good deal, so
Yep.
stay on top of those we can.
But they like me, so when they're bugging me, I'm bugging them.
Yeah.
So
Okay. All right,
yep.
any questions for Ron, being he's up here? Okay, thank you very much, Ron. Terry put down the information about the water, sewer, and airport. Any questions there? Terry, I know Olson's is going to start and already has started with regard to phase 4. Are there any areas that we can kind of make notice that they will be starting so people can be aware of them? I know you must have contacted, or somebody must have contacted the school with regard to them going up there in that area. I think we've got they will.
I don't know if they have yet.
Yeah, I received an email that they would be and stuff, so. But we just want to,
They'll wait until school's out before they
Yeah.
do that.
I've had a few people ask about the paving schedule. Do you have any idea what that looks like?
June 8th?
June 8th?
Question mark. It's
Question,
somewhere
okay.
in there.
Might have told him, but he didn't.
And that's just the stuff that was dug up last year.
Do you have a list of the streets we were going to do all of the street? Cause we talked about it last year, the council approved however many streets, I don't remember. And I talked to Tony, and I mentioned maybe we could do a full street, the full width, where he dug and where we will be tearing it out, and they can do one, and it'll just kinda work out better. Cause to do a half a street and them do a half a street, you're stepping on toes. And he was all for that. So, I gotta I talked to, Jeff Hargens. He's gonna grind the other half of the street, and then we'll prep some of them, and they'll prep some of them, so.
I know they do have a grinder coming here shortly.
Yeah, they're
They're grinding
pretty,
roads that they're gonna be working.
they're pretty high on their grinding, and county will do it for nothing, so.
Okay. And I was just checking the email that I received from Mr. Norton, and it said on Monday, April 14th, the school city will be working on the street just east of the school. Is that Fifth Street?
I guess I'm not.
Of this, the Donlin Street, or is it Eighth Avenue?
Okay, all right. And that's the only thing I heard.
I'm not sure what's getting
Okay.
done there.
All right, and I don't know who was, anyway, I just didn't know if you had any additional information to the email that I had, but I was just going to send that out there too as well. Okay, all right, so if anybody has any further question, they might just, okay, we'll
I
just
had
leave
a-
it then.
I had a question yesterday, and they said, you're gonna have to call Terry, because over the years, everything's been done, and I'm just, don't know anymore.
Okay, yeah,
So, you're gonna get a call.
okay.
Oh, did I tell you that?
Sometimes I do stuff and forget to tell me.
Okay. Anything further with Terry or Dustin's report is in there too as well, and then, let's back up to, Ted, did you, Ted's in there too, and I didn't mention there. Did you wanna say anything with regard to your report? We're okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, all right.
I'm all right.
Okay. Cindy, you said something about information on the sales tax?
No, I was gone last week, so I still needed balance bank statements and everything to get the quarterly report ready. So I'll review that at the next meeting.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else? Okay, I just wanted to welcome,
Oh,
Pat.
and then, I'm sorry,
no, go ahead.
now that I'm looking at it, it reminded me that we have our new website up and running. Does anyone want to look at it?
Yeah. And Allison, I mean, she.
Yeah, Allison was the main person on this one. Yep,
So she did that, so,
it looks good.
yeah, I will add that Councilman Price was at the Board of Equalization, meeting, so welcome back to that, so, yeah, so, anyway. New business, Phase 4 utility improvements, we have two, separate, here. SPN Phase 4 invoice for, 3572-3-3572.5 for the amount of $44,600.57. That information is pages 8 through 9. That's just more or less for construction administration, water main, water storage, and construction observation. That's the total amount of that is requested from SPN.
Make a motion to pay SPN Phase 4 invoices 35723 to 35725 in the amount of $44,600.57.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, motion is made and second to approve SPN Phase 4 invoice 35723-35725 in the amount of $44,657. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Second one is TLC Olson Construction, pay, application number 6 for $228,167.03. That can be found on pages 10 through 15, and that's just through Phase 4 improvements.
Make a motion to approve TLC Olson Construction pay app number 6, 228,167.03.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, motion is made and second to pay TLC Olson Construction pay app number 6 in the amount of $228,167.03. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 2 is Helms and Associate Agreement for Professional Services. Amendment number 1 for AIP number 3-46-0035-015-2024 can be found on pages 16 through 18. It's just more or less a copy of the agreement.
It's an addendum to the original agreement for the amounts that they're going to charge for the bidding and negotiation. So if you look at page 18, bidding and negotiation will come to $10,022.93. Construction administration costs, fixed fees will come to $41,741.70. And then the resident engineering services will come to $48,153.84. We're almost 100% at the design part for that $84,960.27. And when we get to the Helms and Associates invoice, item number 5, you'll see that number on there. So this is just putting these figures into continuing with the project, the construction phases, the bidding phases. And if you notice the asterisk, it says to be amended to the contract upon receipt of FAA grant offer for construction. So that's what this agreement is, putting those figures in there, or this addendum is putting those figures in there, contingent upon that.
And if somebody wants to see the full, copy of the full agreement is on file at the, in the finance office, if somebody wanted to review that, so.
So basically, you just want approval of the amendment,
Yep.
number 1?
Yep.
Okay, I will move to approve amendment number 1 for AIP number 3-46-0035-015-2024.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, motion is made in second to amend the, number 1 for AIP, number 3-46-0035-015-2024. And this is for Helms and Associates Agreement for Professional Services. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. The second one is also with Helms and Associates. It's AIP number 3-46-0035-016-2025. And that's on 19 through 21.
So this is a new agreement with them to start the design phase of the AWAS system. It's the next step in our capital improvement plan. And if you look at page 21, you'll notice that the bidding and negotiation, construction admin, and resident engineering, those dollars haven't been figured yet because we're not applying for funds to do that construction yet. But the $79,870.46 is what they're gonna charge to design it.
I move approval of AIP number 3-46-0035-016-2025.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Hearing none, as Cindy has indicated, that will be in the total project engineering service will be for $79,870.46. Motion has been made and seconded for Helms and Associates for AIP number 3-46-0035-016-2025. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Number 3 on the agenda is the airport grant application that just authorizes myself to sign the appropriate application.
Make a
just-
motion to authorize mayor sign the airport grant application.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to authorize the mayor to sign the airport grant application. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Number 4 is the airport capital improvement project to advertise for bids. And that's what we're doing here, is we're going to make a motion to advertise for bids.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made on behalf of the capital improvement project to advertise for bids. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Missed that one. All right. Helms and Associate invoice number 35666 for the amount of $2,548.81. That's on page 22. This is for the taxi and reconstruction of the access road design. That's the design, right? Yeah, it is.
Yep, we're at 88% complete now. So if you look at that page 18 for the, from the addendum, you'll see that 84,960.27 for their total charge for the design of this portion of the project meets that contract amount listed on the invoice.
And that's gonna be the total amount is the 2,548
For this invoice.
for this invoice.
And that brings us to 88% complete
80.
on the design part of the taxiway and access road.
But that's how much we're gonna be paying.
That's
with
how much
this.
we'll pay tonight.
Okay, tonight, okay? Yeah, it's on there, okay.
Make a motion to pay Helms and Associate invoice 35666, amount of $2,548.81.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion has been made and second to pay Helms and Associates invoice 35,666 for the amount of $2,548.81. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Resolution number 2025-3, that's the LWC grant. And I will read that through that. Resolution 2025-3, whereas the United States of America and the state of South Dakota have authorized the making of grants for the Land and Water Conservation Fund, LWCF, to public bodies to aid in financing the acquisition and/or construction of specific public outdoor recreation projects. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute and file an application on behalf of the city of Miller with the National Park Service, United States Department of Interior, through the state of South Dakota Department of Game Fish and Parks, Division of Parks and Recreation, for an LWCF grant to aid in financing the Miller Swimming Pool project for the city of Miller, South Dakota, and its inversions. That V. Thomas McGowan, Mayor, is hereby authorized to directed to furnish such information as the above mentioned federal and/or state agencies may reasonably request in connection with the application, which is hereby authorized to be filed. That the city of Miller shall provide a minimum of 50% of the total cost of the project and will assume all responsibilities in the operation and maintenance of the project upon completion of construction for the reasonable life expectation of the facility. Certification of recording officer. The undersigned duly qualified and acting finance officer of the city of Miller does hereby certify that the attached resolution is a true and correct copy of the resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the National Park Service as regularly adopted at the legally convened meeting of the city of Miller, South Dakota, duly held the 8th day of April 2025, and further that such resolution has hereby has been fully recorded in the Journal of Proceedings and Records in my office. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 8th day of April 2025, and I'll have my signature, and then I'll have Cindy's signature to attest the resolution, the signing of the resolution. So I just need a motion to approve the resolution for the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-3. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion has been made and second to approve resolution 2025-3. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Ballpark sod cutter.
Say that 3 times.
I'm not going to try it again, that's for sure. Terry, did you want to mention something about it? Or no, Ron wanted to mention something. Terry's, whatever.
Well, I told Roger, I didn't know if I'd be here tonight because I had an eye appointment, but I'm not sure. I thought he was gonna be here tonight. But he did tell me that the price of that is about 3 years of rental. And last year, they rented and it was breaking down on them quite a bit. The one in Huron, this is in Pier. The guy actually talked to Roger, not me, and he said that he was gonna update, he has two, he was gonna update one, and they had such a decent price, he thought he'd update two. So Roger was asking for that much money, he'd go over and look at them and then decide if he wants this one or that one. That's about all I know,
Okay.
so.
And you'd be able to use that anywhere, I mean.
Oh, yeah,
Just
yeah.
not even at, just not
Yeah.
only at the ballpark,
Right.
you'd have other places that you utilize it.
Yep, we used the old K greenery one to sod in front of the swimming pool that one day. And that one needed to go for a ride to the junkyard, and I run it, and I'm not 21 anymore, so. But this looks like a pretty good rig. Actually saw two pictures of two different ones, and they both look pretty decent.
Right,
That's like I said, it's all I know. He did text me and ask about having a pickup available to go get it, and I told him whatever, so.
okay.
Seems like
And being
between
this
the
is on
ballpark and the
agenda,
park.
I'm-
It seems like between the ballpark and the parks and anything that we might wanna do, we probably get our money's worth out of that.
Yep.
Yeah. And this specifically in itself hasn't been budgeted, but we have it within the budget to,
I have some in my machinery in the park. I was gonna update a mower, but we didn't have a surplus last year with the mowers we got. I'm like, I don't need another mower. We usually try to get rid of them. And I'm like, well, we'll just wait and we can apply it towards that. So, normally, what is it, every other year or something, the county, city, school kinda get together and have an auction and auction everything off, and we never had one, so.
Yep.
Doesn't make sense having three mowers sitting around, although it came in handy last year, cause the extra mower got used, cause we broke down a couple others. But that doesn't always happen, so.
Okay.
And right now, if we don't get any rain, they won't get used anyways, so. But you gotta be ready for rain if you got rain.
Yep. Always rains after a long dry spell.
Make a motion that we give authorization to purchase a sod cutter. And this is the price, or,
The one was like 14 and 16, he thought if we could ask for 16 and then he ends up with the 14.
I make a motion that we authorize purchasing a sod cutter in the amount not to exceed $1,750.
Second.
discussion. Hearing none, motion is made and second to, authorize the purchase of a sod cutter not to exceed $1,750. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Our South Dakota Municipal League District Meeting, one of the things that, we hosted it, and, I was appreciative of all who were able to attend, and it was I thought, a very informative meeting. But with regard to that, the open bar tab amounted to $182.90, and that is found on page 24.
It was not budgeted.
It was not budgeted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Will wasn't in attendance though.
Oh, Will wasn't attending, okay.
I'm fine with paying a share of it,
Okay.
personally.
Right,
Same.
same,
Yep,
okay.
two
Alright.
shares.
Okay, so we'll come in and pay a share of that too, okay? I don't think we need a motion on that one. All right, building permits. Rita had a garage, Patrick and Chelsea removed a house and a garage. Have you had a chance to look over the building permits?
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve the building permits.
You got something to say?
I don't know if I do or not, I guess.
We're fortunate enough, I guess, that it's, Patrick has the removal. So, on the removal permit, I need a little direction, I guess. So Terry hasn't signed it because he wants to see it capped, but in order to get the permit, everybody needs to sign off on that. And So I didn't know if I should sign off on it or not. I guess I don't know how to go about on the removal because of the sewer and the water that need to be capped. I mean, to me, we should approve it, but I just don't know how to.
It'd probably change the dialogue going forward on it, where if someone doesn't cap it, they're gonna get fined and or charged the money for the city to come and cap it.
Sure, cause the electric,
That's what the $500 deposit's for.
Right, but does that give you the signature? If you get a deposit, would you put the
Yeah.
signature, you would sign it then?
Yeah, because but it don't get capped, and then we'll go cap it and keep the money.
Okay.
okay, so basically I signed off on the electrical, for the electrical part, because we already unhooked it, I know it's good. But because I'm supposed to sign off on the top, and we got ordinance, that's why I didn't sign off on the top. So I didn't know how to go about that, so that's,
But Allison was new, and I think that was the first one she did, and she didn't know that there's a $500 deposit on it, basically.
And if all it takes to get the signatures, just write a check
Yep.
for it to be on hold until it gets capped. It's-
okay, and I kinda need to know, like I said, it's kinda hard for me to sign off on that if that's what it says, but I don't know, didn't know really how to move forward. And unfortunate enough, it was yours, cause we've had some that before they slipped through the cracks where, there again, if you're not signing it till you see it, yeah, maybe we need another form or yeah, I don't know.
We might have to look into that a little more, because, like, say if he wanted to keep it for some reason, they need to pay the monthly bills until, you know, cause we don't want tree roots and dirt and stuff going in our brand new uncapped sewers and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And the reason I bring this up is I've dealt with some other people that are also, have gotten rid of some stuff, and they're wondering why they're still paying. Well, they haven't got anything capped, and then they're also paying for the electrical as well, even though it's not there. Well, if they would've came in and got a removal permit, then we know and we go through the proper procedure, and then also the county will get notified, and then it'll also come off their taxes. So it's a whole process of how things should go, I guess.
I know it's talked about too, you know, as far as shingles and carpet and stuff. I had that house down by me, I tore all out that I could get to, and you can't get to all the shingles, sometimes it's too dangerous or whatever. I'm willing to work with the people when that comes, but, last year a person hauled quite a bit of garbage out there that shouldn't have been.
But you would help haul that out, is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, I'm only supposed to take demolition debris.
Oh,
and
okay.
it got to be where we had to take a bunch of iron to the counties, and I shouldn't have to do that.
No,
We're providing a service to go there. The fortunate thing for me is we're running out of room for houses out there. There's not much room left. The dump ground is full. Actually, what gained us a bunch of room is when Manning came and they hauled so much dirt, there were like 3 big construction projects, and that east side is pretty high. We just couldn't get rid of the dirt quick enough, so we gained about 8 foot of dirt. So I just tell them dig down until you hit the debris from the previous years, fill it to about 4 foot low, or 3 foot low, cause I have to have 3 foot of soil on top of the debris. So it actually gained us more room by having more dirt out there. But we're running out of room there too, so.
This has nothing to do with Patrick.
No,
No.
nothing about that.
okay,
It's just something that needs to be in the,
So it's something to look at.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't have a problem with it, but.
okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
There is a motion.
Yeah, so we have a motion to approve the building permit? Is that right? Second, do I need a second then? Okay, discussion. Hearing none, motion has been made and a second to approve tonight's building permits. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Abstained.
Yeah, Patrick abstains, let the record indicate. Entertain a motion to approve the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion has been made and seconded to approve bills submitted for tonight. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Entertain a or a second, or a motion to go in executive session for personnel pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, Chapter 1.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.